Continue our discussion of the Padres' offseason storylines in just a minute, but the San Diego State Aztecs getting ready to head to Provo, Utah this week, where in somewhat of a twist, they are favored against the BYU Cougars. Chris will call the game along with Ted Leitner on AM 600 Kogo on Saturday, and we're joined right now from Montezuma Mesa by junior defensive back Darryn Lewis. Darryn, welcome to Extra Sports 1360. You're on with Ben Higgins and Chris Ello. How you doing today, Darryn?
Darryn, Chris Ello here. Congrats on the fast start to this season for you guys, 3-1. BYU, every game's important. You guys have had a couple of weeks, though, and I know that Brady said you guys were all going to get together and watch BYU play Utah State last Friday night.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a little overconfident watching BYU? Do you have to be careful to get a little overconfident? Because they didn't play very well in the game you watched.
Even though they may have struggled during that game, you can never overestimate an opponent. Especially a team like BYU. They always have a lot of pride and tradition there, and especially when you play them on their home turf, you're definitely going to get their best. So we're not expecting them to play at a lower level or anything like that. They're going to come out and play their best game against us, and we need to, counter that and play our best game in order to get a W out there in Provo.
There was a notion presented in the paper that this could be a trap game for the Aztecs. I don't see how the BYU game could be a trap game. Darryn, there's no way you overlook BYU. This is the rival. This is the last meeting between these schools, possibly all time, at least for the foreseeable future. You guys are going to be up for this one, I'm sure.
Exactly. There's no such thing as a trap game, especially when you have coaching staff like we do. They make sure they keep us level-headed as players, and we still have a lot to prove as a program and as a team. So, looking past anybody would be a huge mistake in our part, and the seniors at this school on this team haven't allowed us to do that, and neither will the coaching staff allow us to overlook any opponent that we have.
Darryn Lewis is with us from San Diego State. Darryn, I don't know that anybody tells you about anything that's said on the on the radio broadcast that I and Ted Leitner do. I don't know if they pass any of that along to you guys, but you've become one of our favorites up in the booth the last couple of years. I think the first reason you became a favorite is because a lot of times it's hard to tell who makes a special teams tackle because there's 20 guys in a pile.
Yeah.
And finally, about mid-season last year, Ted and I just looked at each other and said, it's probably Darryn Lewis, and so many of the times it was last year. To be able to earn that opportunity last year to show what you could do and really have to do that and get the attention of coaches. Special teams, man, is where you made your mark last year, and it's something you took a lot of pride in, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely, and all my abilities, I give thanks to the Lord for giving me the talents that I have, and each day I go out there, I just try to compete. Not the biggest or fastest guy out there, but I definitely will give you everything I got. So, and that's all the coaches have asked from me, and they give me the opportunity to display what I can do, and thank God that I'm able to do it how they ask me to most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time.
Darryn, tell us how you ended up where you are now, because you went to Franklin High in Elk Grove, played football there, but were you recruited much out of college? How did you end up at San Diego State, and then how did you end up deciding to go out for the football team? And now, 3 years later, in the starting lineup and earning a scholarship. Take us through from high school to where you are today, Darryn.
Okay. Basically, high school, just graduated high school, didn't have any plans of playing football at the next level. I loved and enjoyed football. It was something that was kind of deprived of me as a child because I was either too small or I'd be too old to play with the younger kids because of my size. So played finally in high school. No offers were given to me in high school. I played just strictly corner in high school, and then moved on to just go to school at San Diego State to pursue a degree in biology. And first year there, I played flag football intramural actually, and a couple of kids kind of hinted, "Oh, you should just try out for the football team. You're fast. You can do this, you can do that." Was your intramural team any good with you on it? We were all right. We made a deep run into the playoffs, but
okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't the one-man wrecking crew.
All right.
But We did well. I think we were one game outside the championship game, and that whole year I had gone to every home game that I could make it to. I think I made it to the 5 of the 6, and I just kind of clicked in my mind like, hey, let me see if I can give this a shot. And Chuck Longstaff gave me an opportunity to come walk on, and so I spent the first year I didn't play. Second year I was strictly scout team. Finally gained their attention doing scout team. My third year here doing scout team, being able to beat some of the first stringers and making them kind of look silly. And so once I gained that attention, they decided to go ahead and throw me in. And it was really weird how I got into that role because, there was an injury and then there was somebody late to a meeting, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, Darryn, you're in there. And I went from not being on the depth chart to on the special teams depth chart to starting on kickoff. And then again, the following year when Coach Hope came into town, I started getting continued my play on special teams and ran into some injury problems at safety. And then again, I got put in the situation to take advantage of opportunity. And from there, just kind of continued to build and grow as a football player. And now I'm at where I'm at. Fortunately, right now in the starting lineup and trying to help my team get W's.
I just want to let that story sink in for a second to anybody who just heard that story. Whether you're a kid or whether you're a parent of a kid or whether you're a relative of a kid or somebody who has a kid who basically has been told they're never going to make it, they're too small, they got no shot at it, they don't get recruited at all, they're playing in intramurals. And not only did he just kind of go out and see if he could walk on, Ben, to me, the stick-to-itiveness to stay with it for a couple of years on the scout team, and say, okay, well, I'm going to just get, it's almost our own little version of Rudy, only he's been a little bit more successful. And I know that Brady Hoke, in talking to Brady, I think he told me one of the happiest things he did this entire offseason, Darryn, was to be able to call and present you with a scholarship. This wasn't something that anybody gave to you, man. This is something you 100% earned, and that had to be an amazing feeling and a great accomplishment.
It was an amazing feeling, and just sharing that with my parents and family, they truly did enjoy that. Paying for school and working and trying to, find my niche on a Division I football team wasn't the easiest thing, but through my family support and hard work, it paid off, and all things are possible through Christ. So it definitely worked out in my favor, and all the blocks fell in place, and I'm lucky to be where I'm at today. So, and I'm enjoying it. Nothing better than playing for San Diego State Aztecs and having a successful season this year.
Darryn, what about managing your education, your schoolwork with football? Not like you're majoring in PE or film appreciation here, as you told us. You're getting a degree in biology. Was that a surprise once you had to put in all that time with football? How have you been able to keep up with your classwork?
From time to time, I start putting football in front of the school, but then I'm quickly reminded by this tough major that can't be done. So biology is definitely a rough major, but something that I look forward to continue to pursue, and hopefully I will be graduated with my degree this summer. With a biology degree. So it's tough, and it's very hard to schedule classes that in biology you have these long labs that are about 4 hours long, and they run into football season, so it's been a little bit stretched out, and trying to figure out how to get my schedule planned around football. But the academic advisors have done a good job with me, and I've also got a little help from the Dean of Sciences, who I took a couple of classes with at my first couple years when I was just discussing about going into football, and everybody gave me warnings about taking this major with football, but it's worked out for me so far, and so hopefully I can finish up in the time allotted for me. So
basically, Ben, you and I just screwed up his entire day's worth of free time here in the last 10 minutes. I'm sure he's got.
We gotta let him go. He's too busy to talk to us.
He doesn't have time for us, man. Hey, Darryn, it's a great story. I tell you one thing, man. When I picked up the depth chart this year and I saw you're starting at safety, that just brought a smile to my face. I think all of us can appreciate a story of stick-to-itiveness like yours, and that's what it's all about, man. Is giving it everything you have, and I imagine you probably were told you couldn't do it, about 100 times.
Oh,
And, every time you were told you couldn't do it, somehow you kept trying, and you've really accomplished a lot. And I had a pick in the Missouri game, too, man. That was a pretty big play in that game. This is a key kid and one of the real great stories of the Aztecs. While you're learning to dissect frogs, Darryn, and sorry, that's the extent of my knowledge in biology right there. See if you can keep a little of that in the back of your head so that later in the season you can help the Aztecs dissect some horned frogs. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, hey, anytime you get a big conference win, especially against a great team like TCU or, like I said, BYU also, I mean, it's always good. I mean, every team in our conference is going to be a challenge, and we definitely need to just stay focused. And, this team has a lot of potential, and I think some of the younger guys are starting to realize that, and we're definitely going to keep building off of each week. So we got to just keep it rolling.
Hey, Darryn, thanks for your time.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, Darryn Lewis, junior cornerback for the Aztecs. And Chris, I have a new favorite Aztec.
I told
after
you
that interview.
I told you.